Hey guys, welcome back for day two. We're going to try this chart here for just some other ways to look at fractions. So this first one says 1/4. And we're going to try to come up with all the different ways we can represent 1/4. If you want to grab a ruler or a calculator, you definitely want to get a calculator for today. We're going to go through this side together, and I'm going to have you guys do the back for homework, okay? All right, it says fraction is 1/4, but how would you put that in words? Well, we know it's 1/4, so I'm just going to write 1/4. Now, it's not 1/4, it's 1/4. So I'm going to throw the TH on there, okay? So in other words, that's how you'd write it if it was just a word, okay? All right, this says fraction of a whole. So sometimes fractions mean take a whole thing, like a pizza or a cake or a sandwich or whatever, and divide it up, right? So you could do a square, you could do a rectangle, you could do a circle. I'm going to go with a rectangle because we did some circles yesterday. Let's go with a rectangle. And I know that I have to do 1/4 of it, which means I'm going to need 4 total spaces, right? So a good way to do it is just divide it down the middle. And remember, one line will get you 2 equal parts, right? And then I could draw another line down this way and down this way, and I'd have 4 equal parts. I could go across this way. As long as you have even or as close to even as possible, that's what we're looking for, okay? So I have 4 total. Oh, by the way, what's that? That's my denominator, right? But my numerator says I just want one of them shaded in, okay? So I'm going to shade in. Doesn't matter because they're all the same size, right? Well, close enough, Mr. Mundy. Shade one in. So of my whole pizza, sandwich, cake, whatever it is, I've got 1 out of 4 shaded in, okay? It's not always a whole thing. You could have a group of things. So you could have 4 cupcakes. And I'm not just going to draw 4 circles anywhere. I'm going to try to keep it organized. So watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of like the hole here. I want to have things be as close to even as possible. If you have a stencil or something you want to use to trace, you could do that as well. So if I have 4 things, I'm only going to take one of them. So I'm going to fill in one like that. So remember, fractions can be a whole thing divided up. It can be a group that's divided up. Or what I could do is I could circle my 1 out of 4, right? All right, this one says equivalent fractions. Well, when I see that word equivalent, it kind of reminds me of an equal sign, right? It looks like the word equal, all right? So I know that I have 1/4, and I know yesterday we practiced a little bit of reducing, putting things in simplest form. I don't think I can make this any smaller, but maybe I could do the opposite. Instead of divide it, maybe I could times it. What if I just pick a number? I'll pick a number. I don't know, maybe 5. So whatever I do to the top, I'm going to do to the bottom. So 1 times 5 is 5, and 4 times 5 is 20, right? So 1 slice out of 4 is the same as 5 slices out of 20. I could pick another number. I could do 1/4 times, I don't know, times 3 and times 3. Got to do it to the top and the bottom. So 1/4 is the same as 3 out of 12, okay? So both of these are equivalent fractions to each other and 1/4. It's all the same amount of pizza, right? These guys get a lot of slices, but they're really small. This person gets 1 slice, but they're bigger, okay? So this is an equivalent, this is an equivalent, okay? And then for this one, it says turn 1/4 into a decimal. I think we did a little bit of this the other day. Where you see 1/4, put a little dot right here and a little dot right there. That's a good reminder if you actually just take the top number and divide it by the bottom number, 1 divided by 4, see if you could type that in. So remember, it's top divided by the bottom. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. And this is just kind of a starting point for decimals, but I think we mentioned that half as a decimal is 0.5, right? So if this is 0.2, it's less than half. And as you can see, we've got way less than half of this sandwich, right? So 0.25 is going to be your decimal, all right? Let's do the next one. 6/8. I just said it, 6/8. TH and an S on the end there, okay? Fraction of a whole. Well, last time I did a rectangle. I'm going to go back to a circle this time. If you have, like I said, if you have a circle or something you want to trace, to make it a little neater, if you want to use a ruler, make your line straight, that's fine, okay? All right, so fraction of a whole, I have one line. It gives me 2 equal parts, but I need 8 equal parts, right? If I do it again, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think if I divide this way and this way, count them with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I only want to fill in 6 of them because that's my numerator. So this one. Does it matter which 6? Nope, because they're all the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Let's do the group thing. Maybe I'll do squares this time. But I'm not going to do 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. That's a little disorganized. So how about I do 2 and 2. So if they're close enough to the same size, right? But I actually did it this way because I knew I'm going to want 6 of them to fill in. So maybe I could just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6/8 of them are filled in. Hey, isn't that the same as 3 out of 4? If you divide by 2, you could reduce it, right? Hey, since we're doing that, why don't we come up with an equivalent? I can put this in simplest form because I know, hey, this is even. This is even. I could divide this by 2, divide by 2. I got a 3 and a 4, right? So 6 slices out of 8 is the same as 3 out of 4. So that's equivalent. It's also in the simplest form. What else could you do to 6/8? How about instead of divide by 2, could you times it by 2? 6 times 2 is 12. 8 times 2 is 16. Now, it's the same amount of pizza, but what's different about this person's slices? They get a lot more slices, but they're obviously a lot smaller, right? This person gets fewer slices, but they're bigger, but they're equivalent, okay? So 6/8 equals 3/4. It also equals 12/16. Okay, let's do the last one. What do you remember to turn 6/8 into a decimal? How about top divided by the bottom, 6 divided by 8. Whoop. 0.75. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't 3 out of 4 quarters 75 cents? Isn't 1 out of 4 quarters 25 cents? I think in a few days or weeks, you're going to start to remember these decimals just as one that just like pops in your head. Because every time you see 1 out of 4, you're going to think 0.25. And when you see 3 out of 4 or 6 out of 8, you'll think 0.75. And that kind of goes with money. All right, let's do one more, then you're going to do the rest on your own. Hey, I don't think I have one pizza anymore. I think I got a bunch of pizzas. How many pizzas are here? 4 pizzas, right? Actually, I don't think it is. I think it's not 4 pizzas, but I'll show you that in a second. All right, this says word form. Well, I know it's 4 and half, right? Here, we're just going to do one big picture, all right? So 4 and a half, I like the pizza idea. I think this means that I have 4 whole pizzas. I'm going to space them out. But this one says a half, so I really don't have 4 pizzas. I have 5. Now, if I have 4 and a half, I got this one, I've got this one, I've got this one, I've got this one. This last one I need to divide in half. And it doesn't matter because my slices are the same size, but I have 4 and a half pizzas. And if you think about it, it's actually 5 pizzas, but the last one you only have part of it. Okay? All right, so I'm going to see if I can come up with another way to say 4 and a half. Well, I know that a half is really times 2 times 2. Isn't that the same as 2 out of 4? So I think in a way, 4 and a half is the same as 4 and 2/4, right? I could take that pizza and divide it in half. I'd have 2 slices out of 4. Or I could say that 4 and a half is equal to 4. What if I do times 10 times 10? Tiny little slices, but you get a bunch of them. 4 and 10/20ths, or 4 and 2/4. They're all equal to 4 and a half, which is what I was looking for, okay? All right, 4 and a half as a decimal. Well, let me just try the 1/2. 1/2 is really 1 divided by 2. I bet you know this one. 0.5. But I don't just have a half. I have to add on my 4 whole pizzas. So I have my 0.5 and I'm going to add 4. Hey, 4.5 is 4 and a half. So 1/2 is just 0.5. But when you add the other 4 pizzas, you get 4.5. Okay? All right, guys, that's a good start. If you have a printer, you want to print them out, that's great. If not, just do it digitally like you guys did. Make sure you guys take a picture or multiple pictures. I had somebody send me a couple pictures yesterday. They found their factors when they did their simplest form, and I was really impressed by that. So give this a shot, and I'll take a look and get back to you in the comments, all right? Good luck, guys.